Okay, yes. Okay, so let's start the webinar. So welcome to another episode of Entab CampusCare EdTalks, an exclusive platform where we invite pioneers from the education industry to share their years of experience and insights with us. So before moving forward, let me introduce you to Entab. With an experience of more than 2 decades, Entab has been associated with over 1,500 schools across India, evolving them to become new age digital campuses by providing them mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. In today's session, we'll discuss about retrieval practice to boost classroom planning. We'll understand that its meaning and the characteristics that makes it different. We'll also learn that how it can help in enhancing a child's visualization skills. So to discuss the same, we have a very special guest with us. We have Brajesh, sir, the principal sir of Shree Shankar School, Madhya Pradesh. In his educational journey, sir has been associated with several prestigious schools, like we have Saintva Public School, Central School, and Imperial Academy. So welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So before starting, I would like to remind all to subscribe to our channel and hit that bell icon. Also, we are coming up with some regular vlogs where you'll have all the insights from the corporate world. So do subscribe it. So moving on to the webinar. So, sir, the first thing our audience would like to know is that what is the meaning of a retrieval practical practice in a classroom, and what makes it different?
Okay, Megha. Uh, Retrieval practice, in fact, I would like to thanks Entab that they chose such an interesting topic because most of the teachers, most of us, we usually give our 100%. We do lots of hard work, but even then, many times we could not convert the hard work into result. And when we discuss with the students, they also usually complain that they do lots of hard work for learning the
ब्रजेश सर सो
uh,
सॉरी जस्ट
yeah, yeah.
सॉरी टू बार्जन सर थोड़ा सा आप और सर मतलब कैमरा थोड़ा सा एडजस्ट कीजिए बिकॉज आपका फेस ना सर बहुत मतलब स्ट्रिप लग वो क्या
now
कहते हैं थोड़ा सा सर
now is it
एडजस्ट
okay? Now is it okay?
हाँ हाँ कंटिन्यू सो सॉरी सर कंटिन्यू
Okay, it's so I was just telling that many of the students also complain that do they for the examination they prepare hard, they do lots of studies, they do rereadings, they do re-studies, they
स्टिल नो
go
दे
through
डोंट
notes
गेट मार्क्स
once again and again. But even then, actually, what happens that during the examination in examination hall,
राइट
they immediately get blank. Means even it might have happened with you also that during the examination, sometimes it happens that we even recall the page
सर मेरे
we
साथ तो ये होता था एग्जाम में कभी कभार तो 1 सेकंड पहले मतलब आई वाज लाइक किसी ने मुझसे पूछा आई वाज लाइक अच्छा ये मैंने लर्न किया है मुझे याद है मैंने लर्न किया बट किसी ने मुझसे आंसर पूछा आई एम टोटली ब्लैंक
yeah, that is a very common problem with many
राइट
of us.
राइट हाँ जी
In fact, when we recall, we even recall the notebook in which the answer was written.
हाँ
We recall the book. We recall even the design on of the pages.
एग्जैक्टली
Recall the answer, exact answer. So, why this problem actually happens? It is basically a problem of retrieval practice.
ओके
Basically, when we concerned with our memory and learning part, so there are basically three processes involved in human memory.
ओके
The first one is encoding, the second one is storage, and third one is retrieval. So during the classroom, what exactly happens that we emphasis a lot on the first two parts, that is encoding and the storage. We prepare our lesson excellently well. We give lot many examples. We do lot many practicals and many of the activities. By doing all these things, we actually improve our encoding and storage part. It means we give informations and knowledge to students, and that is encoded in their brain, that is stored in their brain. That is okay, perfectly okay. But at the time of examination, when the retrieval is needed, when the recalling is needed, since we are not giving proper practice to the retrieval, that's why they could not, recall. They are not able to recall the answers, and that's why the result is not is as per the expected one. So retrieval practice means exactly to recall the data and information from our brain. Actually, it is an active cognitive process. Uh, Definition wise, if I say retrieval practice is it is a kind of a strategy in which bringing information to mind enhances and boosts learning. Deliberately recalling information forces us to pull our knowledge out and examine what we know. So we can say retrieval is actually getting our information and knowledge out from the brain forcefully. So that's why retrieval practice is very important, because not a matter whatever we are having in our storage in our brain, until and unless it comes smoothly out when it is needed, it is of no use.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely, sir. So, sir, moving on. So, the audience wants to know, like, how does the retrieval practice works on the visualization skills of the child? Because eventually you picture something in front of you, right?
Correct, correct. Visualization, again, it is very important part, because we oftenly say, or when we oftenly ask from the students that do you get it, understand it, आपको समझ में आया क्या?
हाँ जी.
So exactly what does that mean? समझ में आया means क्या समझ में आया, कैसे समझ में आया? The issue is when we understand something, actually we are having our mind eyes. One is the external are these eyes, which are used to just see the objects and things.
Right.
But internally, we are having mind eyes, and until and unless we observe something through our mind eyes, we cannot understand it properly. And again, if the students do not understand the concepts or the things properly, they go for mugging and rote learning. So mugging and rote learning both are of no use. So that's why they are supposed to visualize the things through their mind eyes, and visualization, that's why it becomes important, especially then when for visualization also, suppose the things which are familiar to you, like if I say to just close your eyes and to visualize about any car,
Right.
about a plane. So all these objects you might have seen, and that's why you will exactly figure out how a car is, how an aeroplane is. So then your brain is comfortable for this. But especially then when the things come on very course, for very core science and literature part, suppose for any English lesson, the teacher is explaining about Hamlet,
Right.
about any drama of Shakespeare, or suppose any science teacher is explaining about electron. So in fact, the teacher himself has not seen all these things. So now exactly how the student will understand
Through
about the
visualization.
electron. So the thing is, the student need to visualize all these things.
Right.
And for visualization, exactly what happens, they means teacher through words take the students to that particular level. That okay, you just imagine about a rotating fan. So when a fan, ceiling fan is rotating speedily, we cannot observe the blades of the fan. We only can observe a shed of which is in a circular way. So the
Right,
electron
right.
exactly revolves around the nucleus in such a way. Now exactly what happens is it becomes easy for the student to visualize.
Absolutely.
And until and unless the student visualize the facts, a student cannot memorize it properly. So for visualization also, retrieval practices are needed, because once if the student visualize any of the concept or any of the things, again and again it has to come out through the so that it goes in a proper memory storage. So retrieval practices for visualization is again important, because the stored informations are there in the student's mind. So retrieval practices, it comes to the eyes, visualize all the concepts, and then it goes to the permanent section of the memory, and for the future also it is stored.
Absolutely right, sir. Very well said, sir. So yes, visualization is very important. Like for a student to learn the concept more clearly, visualization is important. And yes, also we at Entab we are launching our new product. We are launching learning management system. So that would definitely solve all these problems. So yes, so moving on. So sir, in your opinion, how does this practice works on keeping the child active and enhancing their memory retention power? So what is your take on this?
Good, good. Interesting question. Actually, it is of a core psychology part. Is in what way the memory retention is associated with retrieval practices.
Right.
It is often it happens because as a student, when we do struggle to learn something, sometimes it happens that we try to learn any answer, but we do not usually get the answer, and especially then when we do not understand the concept. Suppose you are a chemistry student and you are learning the mechanism of some of these reactions, and you are doing lots of work again and again, but even then you are not recalling it properly. Your retrieval is not proper.
Right, sir.
Oftenly, the students get demotivated that they are doing poor, but actually it is just opposite, because if you are doing that much hard work, if you are doing if you are actively involved in retrieval practice, it is making your learning so strong. It means if you are, might be that for very initial period you feel that you are not doing well, but in fact for a learning, from a learning point of view, you are doing great job. It means all this memory will go for a very long period. So struggling to learn is again a very good thing, uh, because what exactly happens that when we do only simple rereadings, or we simply overdo views lecture notes again and again, and oftenly it creates a kind of pseudo confidence in our brain that we know the answer. But actually when the time comes to bring these answers on the page, on the paper, then we usually become fail. And that's why if we do proper retrieval practice, we again and again bring the informations out. We just
Right.
assimilate in our brain. Then our brain becomes so smooth for the retrieval that when the time comes, when it is needed, immediately the informations come out from our brain. So we can say that struggling to learn is a very good part, because when we do proper retrieval practice, when we struggle to learn something, it goes to permanent section of our memory. And as far as the memory is concerned, we are when we study something, when we read something, or when we observe something, firstly it goes to our temporary memory part, and through temporary memory it goes to the permanent memory. And the retrieval also comes in this way, that from the permanent memory section, the information comes to the short term memory or the temporary memory lobe, and then it comes to the main effective domain. So that's why if the retrieval practices are good, our memory also becomes sharp, our learning also becomes sharp. So that's why students are needed to do proper retrieval practices. So if you wish to know about the retrieval practices, I can tell you about some of the interesting retrieval practices as well.
Sure, sir. Sure. Would love to hear that.
Okay. Uh, as our topic is concerning with the classroom planning, so we basically right now can focus on the classroom retrieval practices. Individually, some of the practices vary, but mainly for classrooms, basically we can utilize 10 techniques, 10 retrieval practices for the classroom.
Yes, sir.
Number one, the teacher must, or the instructor must keep in mind that everyone, all the students should involve. So if any of audience, any of the teacher is noting, they can note this first point, that involve
Involvement
everyone,
of all the students, right?
all the students. Because what exactly happens when it is a common practice that when we explain any of the topic, and when we usually throw questions in bulk, okay, who knows the answer? So the it happens that merit holder students are the first
Usually
bench,
raise
so-called
their
first
hands.
bencher. Yeah, they
Right.
raise the hands, and they immediately give the answers. And as soon as they give the answer, immediately it stops the retrieval of other students.
Right.
So a teacher must understand this, that everyone should be involved, and individually they can ask the students to do some retrieval practice. Again, retrieval means not to answer. Retrieval means whatever the teacher has taught, they can ask very small questions related with the topic, and again the answer is not needed. Only the brain assimilation is needed. Means the student himself herself is thinking in own. Okay, exactly when the teacher entered in the class, when the topic was written on the note blackboard, the topic was written in such a way that is okay. So that small retrieval practices also will give very good results. So this is the first one. The second one, uh, the teacher must make checking accurate and easy. That when you are going for any retrieval practice, the teacher must see that the checking of the retrieval practice is accurate and easy. It should not be overviewed. Means suppose if you asked any kind of if you give some assignment to the students, or if you are conducting any kind of quiz, so it must be checked very properly. Third one is specify the knowledge. Means until and unless for any retrieval practice you are not specifying it, it will become very general, and then it will not give proper results. So that's why the student should know that exactly for what task they are doing this retrieval practice. Then suppose if I am teaching biology and I am giving some retrieval practice, before the practice only, I should inform the student that this particular questions is for the your memory enhancement. This is for your logical aptitude. This is for your reasoning part. So that's why it should be very specific. Next one, keep it generative. Means this particular point is oftenly used for corporate sector also. That when the retrieval practices are used, we try to make it generative. Generative means the students or the employees, they are said to review the data, to recall the data without the help of anything. Means there will be no notes, there will be no friends, there will be no talk. Very exclusively, they are supposed to recall. They are completely dependent on their memory and brain. Now, just one thing we should know that here, if we remove the fear of failure, the students become free to recall, and they honestly will tell you exactly how much part they are retrieving or recalling, and accordingly their means accordingly we can further work, uh, we can work out their learning. So that's why we should keep the retrieval in a very generative way. Next one, the retrieval practices should be time efficient, because suppose we started by 6 o'clock, and now if I ask you that when we started, what problems you faced, so immediately your brain will say the first one was the camera alignment was not proper. Okay, but if I show you a lot many things that okay, what was the color of this, what was the color of that, so exactly what will happen that your brain will not manage the retrieval practice in a time frame, and if it is not time framed, the retrieval practice will not give the constructive results. So that's why it should be time efficient, that very for a very short span of the uh, time, the task should be allotted. Next one, the workload also should be appreciable. It should be efficient workload. It means we cannot say that okay, you just revise or recall all the informations what I have given throughout the month. So it could be, it is not possible. It could be a working day, it could be a working hour, it could be working week, it could be a working month. So that's why the workload should be efficient, appropriate, proper. And again, as per the class and age, it varies. For small kids, the retrieval practices should be for a few minutes. For some middle classes, it could be for some hours. For senior classes, it could be for a day. And for further use some weeks. For retrieval practices, especially when the workload is considered, we oftenly use some quick fire quizzes, some paper quizzes, some silent self quizzes, and some paired quizzes. Now, among this types of quizzes for our audience, I would like to emphasize on two important one. What I have seen rarely in schools. One is silent self quiz, and second is paired quiz. Silent self quiz means here again the student is not having a fear of humiliation, because it is not means student need not to answer before the class. Simply the question is shooted, and the student himself think about the answer, whatever part he remembers.
Right.
He is supposed to note it down. It will not revealed to the class, and that's why the student will do the work honestly. The student by themselves, they are supposed to assess their performance, and whatever the performance they are having, in a hidden way they can tell to the teacher. So it is a kind of silent quiz.
Right.
The next one is paired quiz. In paired quiz, we can make pairs of the students. So two or three students, they can in group they can quiz to each other. That also reduces the work effort of the teacher, but even can bring good results.
Right, right, right.
The next one is paired or individual elaborative interrogation. If you are having a small sample size, like suppose two or three students are there, or two or 10 or 5 people are there, and for them, if you are doing the retrieval practices, we can go for elaborative interrogation. And here for the interrogation, we oftenly emphasize on how and why type of questions. The next one, tell the story, is very effective again for all the stakeholders,
Yes,
for the
yes.
schools, for the classes, for the corporates, because when we go for the story, it is our human nature that we are more interested for the story.
Story. Right.
Here also, if we say ki we are going to arrange a webinar, so it is a webinar. But if we say ki, okay, we are going to tell a story, so then it will become easy for us. Ki,
Right.
okay, it's a story, we'll enjoy. So we can keep or we can give retrieval practices through the story. For any kind of lesson, we can convert a story. Then through the story, we can ask different questions.
Right.
Another important retrieval practice, best practice I must say, is summarizing. That correct means whatever knowledge information we are giving thoroughly, after or at the end, we can ask the students to summarize it by their own.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, when we ask for the summarizing, we should know that we should give some liberty to our students, because summarizing means every individual is having his her own perception. So some of them will summarize the data in some other way, some of them will summarize in some other way. So here we should keep in mind that the technical aspect is not important. The important is how focused they were during the class.
Absolutely.
So summarizing is again a step. The next one, map and compare. It again is very interesting technique and practice, map and compare. Many of the psychiatrists, many of the scientists are using map and compare to enhance the, even for the poorly developed brain, children, they are using this technique. That whatever chapter, whatever lesson we are teaching in a class, if it is mapped properly through some indicators, and then we ask the class to recollect the points of the map. Right. Just for an instance or example, if I say, suppose I am supposed to retrieve, or I'm supposed to give you only a retrieval practice. What I'll do, I'll just tell you that since morning, you do one thing. You, whatever favorite fruit you are having, you take this one fruit with your one activity. Like suppose in morning you are going to have a coffee. You just take coffee with suppose banana. Then a banana was eaten by say an elephant. So you just tag elephant with your office door. Okay. Then the elephant went to the forest. In forest, you saw a lion. You take your boss with lion. Bosses are often like lions on. So now exactly what will happen? It is a kind of map. Now, right. If I go for the retrieval practice, what I'll do, I'll simply ask you, okay, when you saw lion after the elephant, or when the elephant went into the jungle. So now again boss, when you saw the boss, that is a technical part. But now when you mapped it through elephant, banana, lion, then immediately the things will come in your mind.
Right.
So it is a kind of retrieval practice. If we map and compare, then it makes our retrieval practice very easy and very interesting. So these are some 10 basic retrieval practice what everyone can use.
Yes. So thank you so much, Brajesh sir. Thank you so much for sharing your valuable insights on this topic. And it was great interacting with you, sir. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Manga. Thank you. Same here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And also, I would like to remind to all the people who are watching us, to all the viewers, to subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit that bell icon. So till then, stay happy, stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.